Welcome back to the Tripping Off podcast, where I don't know what to say. The world is a scary, crazy place right now, man. And we're gonna talk about it. We're trying to discuss how much do we want to say or not say, and then we started talking about it before we even clicked record, and we're like, maybe it just needs to be honest. We'll talk it through. This is like the pre-recording conversation, and we'll just go with it because. I've got friends with the current political stuff and the people who are being murdered that are reaching out to me that usually don't hit me up and are usually pretty passive and complacent and just keep to themselves. And, even they're, in this place right now where stuff's scary. The person I'm talking to has a child, grew up here, both American citizens. They've got a kid together, but the kid has browner skin because they're a mixed race couple, and they're it would be easy for something to happen and my son to get snatched away. And I'd be thinking about the same things with my kid, even though my child's very, very white, but just the fact that I have some semblance of solace because my child is white. I don't know, solace is probably the wrong term, but I just be thinking about that stuff too. And the comfort that I'm taking is that he's very white passing. That's a pretty fucked up reality to be living in.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, take it away. You were talking about some movie quotes and stuff.
Yeah. Well, and when you're just saying that, the other thing in our profession is a therapist was just murdered.
There's that too. By a client. Followed home, right?
No, I was at the office. But it was late.
Yeah.
And because the client that she was leaving a session, and her client were both stabbed. The client survived.
It was the client's partner, or something like that, right?
I don't think so. But I don't know too much about the case in general. Just watching, I've been paying more attention to the profession's response to it than actually what happened.
Any interesting updates about the profession's response to it?
I'm seeing people retire. People are trying to get out of the profession because they're like, it's not safe and I gotta go. But same thing politically, people are like, I gotta move to a different country.
I've got some clients who are in that process.
Yeah.
I gotta go. And they're feeling very privileged and fortunate to be able to have that conversation about moving to Europe.
Yeah.
But it's real.
Yeah. And it got me thinking. I saw two clients this morning, and both of them, politics was the major thing that they wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
And it was, it brought a couple of things up for me. And I used the metaphor of the new Gladiator movie.
Yeah.
Because just if you haven't seen it,
I haven't.
It's not the first one. But I just watched it a little while ago just to kind of see what was going on. And I had some extra time that I didn't have. And basically, son of the king comes back, it's the archetypal story. And the empire is in ruins because the leadership is not leading. They're just very selfish, but they're entertaining, and they're entertaining the masses, and they're entertaining the people that give them taxes. And so much of what we're seeing today is this, it's good TV. It's getting ratings.
Yeah.
Lots of distraction, lots of the things that the things that get ratings are going on. And then this guy comes up and takes political power who was an entertainer. And it was a lot of political likenesses.
Was it meant to be?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Because it's kind of made, they started making that movie predating all the stuff that's going on.
Yeah. That's what I was
It's been the past year.
Yeah. And then, it kind of ends and, the hero throws his sword down at the end after defeating the bad guy, and the two Roman armies, one that's not supposed to enter Rome and one that's supposed to protect Rome, they become brothers again. But the interesting part is that, that's not actually how it happened.
That's the heartwarming ending from Hollywood, but not the actual story?
Yeah, it was quite literally the parts that that started the end of the Roman Empire.
Wow.
Because they couldn't come back together and form a new identity. And it's kind of where I left both the clients with is like, it didn't actually work that way because it's not a strong leader that makes the difference. It's the people.
Yes.
And the people still want to be entertained. And the people still want this life and to follow somebody and to not be a part of the system and to have other people take care of the system. And, when it comes down to it, I think that that's what our bilateral political system started with.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's how America started.
It's not that anymore, though.
Like how America was founded versus how... No. There's very little, like, personal involvement in most capacities.
Even voting.
Feels like a throwaway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's what upset me a lot. I mean, we're going to get more political probably than we intended, but I think that's what upset me a lot about the whole political race this time around is, like, they had such great candidates, like the blue side. And, because of the incumbent power and, wanting to kind of, give the second term to Biden, it's like they didn't, they played favorites rather than choosing, what the people would have actually wanted. Well, I just think about like Bernie Sanders too. I mean, again, not supporting one way or the other, but just like, I think if they had put Bernie Sanders like many years ago, it would be a very different situation. I mean, that was back in the Hillary, time.
Yeah.
It just blew my mind. It's like, why?
Well, I think I mean, I kind of disagree because that there may have been better candidates for the American political system, but I don't know that there are better candidates that people would vote for because I think this all comes down to identity.
I think maybe I have a little more faith in the public than maybe you do.
I don't.
Like, if we had just done the right candidate, and it's like, Jess, maybe not.
Yeah.
And like, okay. Good point.
Yeah, I think we want sound bites and somebody to say that they have a certain value.
Or a plan.
Yeah, and I think that's what I've challenged both of these clients on is like, we're not good at letting things die. And I think the reason why is because we have such a hard time reinventing identity.
Okay, develop the thought, yeah.
It's like, who am I if America's not the military power of the world? As an example.
Yeah.
It's like, even with like death of a friend or a family member, it's like, who am I without this person in my life? And that's why it gets so hard because we get so fixated on these trances of like, this is how it is. And this is how it should be. And instead of like changing a system, we need to build on that system. And it's always supposed to be better, always supposed to be more, and always supposed to be this, whether we're right or wrong about the system, whatever the system is, whether it be how my household functions.
Yeah.
Whether it be like, I need to renegotiate who does the dishes.
Yeah.
Or I don't know who I'm going to talk to about this hard thing if my parent is no longer with me.
I think the way that I'm hearing you say that is, do you have confidence in your identity or confidence in the system?
Yes, and something, especially systems that are outside of us. It's like we have so much like attachment to that.
Yeah. And it creates so many problems because if you substitute self-confidence for confidence in the system, that's not something that you can directly control. And so you have now attached your identity and effectively become codependent upon a system.
And that's scary.
That's horrifying. But, I think in many ways it can be fueled, just in my reflections, it can be fueled by capitalism in the economy. And I'm still a fan of capitalism, right? Not throwing the whole thing out, but I think when somebody comes to your door and proposes, hey, this thing that's supposed to be your responsibility, I'll handle that for you so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And that sounds very attractive. But the consequence of that is a long-term erosion of identity. Hey, I'll worry about your healthcare for you. Hey, I'll worry about your finances for you. Hey, I'll worry about raising children, parenting for you. Like, it sure is convenient in the moment, but it's back to the problem that I think that most of the people I interact with have, which is buying things on debit versus buying things on credit. It hurts more to pay for it now, but it's so much safer. Like when you start to prioritize the pleasure or the entertainment and having the thing now, and you buy it on credit and then you have to pay that interest. If you are not aware of your situation in the moment, that interest will ruin you.
Well, and kind of foundational for that is this last weekend was a great example of this.
Yeah.
Me and my 7-year-old, we talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
Me and my 7-year-old were working on my truck together. It was so awesome.
I know.
It was so awesome. And in contrasting that with a kid that he knows, Dad was bragging to me about how he got this really cool thing for his truck to make it so that he could turn on the tablet and the kid wouldn't have to talk to him when they drove. And I was like, what? That's not good, man.
That's not great. Oh man, my most magical moment from the weekend was, my wife had to go to some event or something, and so I was just me and the little man at home, and so we sat at the kitchen counter and we peeled 2 oranges together, and he just told me all his thoughts and feelings about what he was thinking about, and we sat there. He's going to be 3 next month. He's tiny, and so he's sitting there, his little legs don't even reach over the bar stool, and he's just telling me all his thoughts, and we're talking about oranges and what animals eat oranges, and so it's this moment of like we're just connecting. It's like there's a million things I could have been doing that were important for business, but I was like, I'm never gonna get this moment back.
No.
And so I'm sharing this moment with him, and his favorite thing was he got to push in the oil filter for my motorcycle when we changed the oil. He's throwing all sorts of tool bits around, and I think I lost 3 of them. But that moment where he's like, I put this in to make Daddy's motorcycle go faster, and the ownership and the identity that he developed, there's no price on that.
Well, Addie stripped a screw, and we had to get a new one.
Yep.
And we had to figure out how to do that, and we got to talk about disappointment and how to do things, and
I've stripped many a screw on my bike.
Yeah, and it was great.
Well, we're tightening everything.
But he got to use power tools.
Oh yeah.
And it was so cool. And I think that's kind of the thing there is that like so many parents have such a hard time with changing that identity after a death, an ending.
Yeah.
And we get so attached to the trances that we have, being able to be and stay in whatever that identity is, that it can be really traumatic when something like a kid comes around, when something like the end of an empire comes around, when something like, unfortunately, an end of a life. And it's so traumatic because, like we were talking about, how many, like the therapists right now are saying, oh my God, I don't feel safe. You're never safe.
That's the part that worries me the most.
You're leaving a building at 9 o'clock at night in the dark, all alone. Like, this is not a safe place.
There's nothing that's a safe place.
It should be. I want it to be.
Should.
Right. Right.
That's the part that worries me the most is, this news article made its way around the office, as it should. And so everyone's like, we need to review our safety procedures. And it's like, we have a lot of safety procedures. We have some very detailed and thought out safety procedures. Do people consistently follow them? No. And so there's only so much that I can do as a business owner to communicate how important it is to follow safety procedures. But it's the responsibility of each person to recognize the danger that they live in every day. And so the question that I'm kind of bringing up as they're talking about this is, let's review it. And if you got any suggestions, I'm happy to make them. However, I want to reiterate that There is no scenario in which you can effectively offload your personal responsibility for safety. There is no amount of policies and procedures that can be implemented by a business or by me that will guarantee somebody's safety. That's each person's responsibility. And I'm very grateful and fortunate to live in a world where things are relatively safe enough where we can forget about our individual responsibilities for safety.
What a privilege.
It's very much a privilege, but that cannot be the way that we continue to operate all the time. And it's those people who are aware of that, like that safety is our personal responsibility, that are the people I want to surround myself with, not those who are contented or privileged enough to stick their heads in the sand, and then when a news article comes up, they freak out.
Then freak out about it. Like
that's wrong.
Think about it for the first time. But it's the same thing. I could say it's a much larger scale for the country.
Yeah.
But also parenting. It's, I don't know. I
just have to be better.
And I think that starts off with accepting the reality of the situation, and practicing endings and getting good at endings. From a Buddhist perspective, a death.
Yeah, tell me more what you mean. Like, what are the good practices? Because I've never thought about it as endings. I've just thought about it as responsibility. But that's perhaps my childhood trauma speaking.
Yeah,
you know, and perhaps endings are your childhood trauma speaking.
Yeah.
So,
I was about to say, and mine too, but in a different way.
So could you tell me about that? Like when you think about having a good ending, you know, we don't mean the a Hollywood rewrite of Roman history.
Right.
We mean a good ending as in I handled that with integrity. And what are some of those things that an individual should look for?
The practice came up with that I shared as metaphorically with both the clients is this idea of the Buddhist practice of mandalas, and these.
I talk with my clients about that a lot.
Yeah, these monks, what they do is they spend anywhere from days to a week, longer sometimes, fasting and putting this beautiful sand mandala on a platform or on the floor, and creating this beautiful piece of art that, one, will never be documented. Sometimes you're not even allowed to take pictures of them.
Yeah.
And two, as it represents the experience of that monastery or another specific experience that has is supposed to create a huge sense of attachment in the monk on what they're creating, a personal identity to it, a connection to it. And then as soon as it's done, it's just swept away.
Yeah.
I'm creating something not to build something on top of it, but I'm creating something that is intended to die as soon as it's created.
I think a lot of people see that as really mean.
We'll go right back to this capitalistic perspective on things. I think it's so kind.
Yeah, tell me more. How is that process of sweeping away something that's been patiently crafted over days and weeks kind? It doesn't seem so, I think, to most of the people listening to this.
It creates a space inside of me of non-attachment to something that's really beautiful in a much more safe way. Think about a relationship with like a parent or parenting. Like, my job is not to make it, like if I'm a good parent, my kid feels comfortable going out on his own and doing his own thing that has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
And that's
the point.
Fucking sad. Like, I'm getting emotional thinking about it. Like, my job is to put everything that I have into this other human being in such a way to make it so that he gets to the point to where he's so confident doing something outside of my system.
Yeah. Yeah. That still sounds really sad. I can see you tearing up thinking about it.
Like,
what's the emotion
it's
coming up?
It's beautiful and it's sad. Like, I got this time with him, and then if I've done my job right, we'll still have a relationship because we have got a great relationship. But
yeah,
it goes from this tight-knit, healthy, close thing to something that's not mine. And then he goes off and does his own thing without me.
I don't know. I think I see that same process and ponder that same process, but I think about it differently. I don't see it as a death, really. When I think about the mandala, or let's talk about, my son. When I think about and get teary-eyed over thinking about how he won't need me one day, I don't feel sad. I feel the same tears of joy that I feel when I watch him do something like sounding out letters or reading or, playing pretend in his room as I watch him develop the story and the emotions in between the characters. And so I don't feel, unless I'm, missing it, but I don't feel I am. I am overjoyed, and they're tears of joy for me, not because I feel like I'm losing something, but because I'm so proud of him and I can see that the work is paying off. And relating that to the mandala, it's not the attachment that I have, and the reminder of doing that is that my attachment is not to the thing, but in the identity that's been developed from doing the thing.
Yeah.
And so the mandala that's in my heart can never be taken away from me, and that's the only thing that's safe.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I think I want to communicate most deeply to those who are listening is, it can be sad to think about how we're not safe, but I think that sadness is predicated on the erroneous belief that safety can be given responsibility to somebody else. My safety is always my responsibility, and I will always want to surround myself with other people who understand that safety is a personal responsibility. That's why we put on, though there are laws for putting on a seatbelt in your car, you have to do it.
Yeah.
So there can be incentives in the community to remind people that safety is our responsibility. There's laws, don't text and drive now. But that was always our responsibilities for ourselves and our fellow humans. All that to say, I love that reminder, and I do not feel sad because it's a reminder that you never owned that to begin with. Who gave you dominion over the sand?
Yeah.
That doesn't belong to you. It was here before you were born, and it will be here after you die. The only part that does belong to you, and what's beautiful about it is nobody can take it away. The changes that are made to your identity through patiently and deliberately going through that process. And so I feel joy watching my son and thinking about one day when I do die, and I've given him absolutely everything of my life experience that I possibly can, so he is well equipped to move forward. I will be so grateful for that passing, enjoyed for that passing. Now he's gonna have to figure that out because the passing on his side will be much different than the passing on my side. Absolutely. I'm done. I'm overjoyed to have passed that on to him, and so he'll have to navigate that. But I'll also have given him the tools to.
Yeah, I still definitely feel sadness, but I think that it's just such a complex emotion for me that it's also the joy. It's also the reminder. Like, I'm sad, but also I don't think there's anything more beautiful than that.
No. Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing with like this profession. It's like maybe making this a little bit too metaphoric, but I think this is one of the most dangerous of professions.
In many ways.
Maybe not for like our lives, but like we go to places that you cannot go in pretty much every other profession.
Yeah. We were joking over the weekend about things that we've said in therapy that are absolutely ridiculous. Like in no other conversation could you say those things. Huh?
Yeah, you can't talk about those things.
No, not at all.
I don't know what it would be like to have a water cooler talk with somebody at a normal office.
I have no concept. I've been doing this too long. And so I think that's, there's political conversations that need to be had, but I don't think that's my lane. I don't feel well educated enough to advise anyone on political things, but the mental health structures that create a sound human being who can proceed in this world and make smart political decisions, I do believe is my responsibility. And so the part that I want to communicate today very clearly is there will be lies that we should be sad about, things that are being taken away. But the truth is that those things were never ours to begin with.
Yeah.
The stuff that does belong to you, like your identity, your family, your responsibilities, can never be taken away, though they can end your life. You know, and I tell my clients that all the time who go through traumas, like, you can take my fingers, you can take my feet, you can lop off an arm, but you can't take away who I am. Even if you kill me, and maybe it's a stupid Star Wars quote, but you know.
I knew exactly where you were going to go.
Obi-Wan Kenobi says, strike me down, Darth, and I'll become more powerful than you could ever imagine.
And he did.
And it's true, and that's the end of the story. And so the encouragement is, you know, if you spend all your time fretting and worrying about something that you don't have the ability to control, it'll be a sad waste of your time. But there's another quote that I really like, which is, never apologize for raising dragon slayers in the time of dragons. And I really love that one. And so I think a lot of people are thinking, like, I'm going to quit the profession. I'm not going to have kids. And sometimes people ask me, like, well, you're still in the profession and you have a kid and have plans to have more kids. Why? Isn't that reckless and irresponsible? I say, no.
It's hopeful.
It's my responsibility to raise empathetic, well-loving, and, you know, gold-hearted individuals who will make the world a better place and have dance parties.
I gotta have a dance party with the little guy.
And it was so good, man. It was so good. Just so authentic and true. And just to watch him, like, you know, he's in the dress-up age, and so he's dressing up like all these characters. He's really attracted to the strong masculine characters right now. Yeah. You know, he loves putting on, you know, I've got a spare helmet that I used to use before I got the nice one that I have, because I've been riding for many years. And, you know, he'll put on my old helmet and run around the house and put on my gloves as soon as I get home. And he's like attracted to that, like, strength. Yeah. And so he's finding his strength. Yeah. He showed you that when you spent time and saw him. He's like, look at my strong belly. He pulls up his shirt. I was like, oh, strong belly. Oh my gosh, look at those. So just building into him that identity. It's like, when I'm gone and I don't get that opportunity anymore, I'll be so, like, there's such tears of joy of, like, I passed it on well. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else to add to that?
That's beautiful, man.
It's hard out there, but
and it's not to take away from how difficult it is.
No,
but make sure that your trances are observed.
Yeah, both by you and others. What trances are you in, and do they fit? It's a time of awareness and being shaken up. So I think those who are the most set in their trances will be the most disturbed by the shaking. But I think others. I got a good friend of mine who's been very much anti Second Amendment and, you know, firearms ownership and stuff, and he's asking questions about, like, you know, what firearm should I get, and what about this, and what do you think about that? And it's like he was sworn enemy of all that stuff. And you know, I think he is seeing. He's like, I can't trust somebody else to keep me safe. Yeah. And it's like, the truth is, you never could. Yeah. It was privileged to be able to think that. And I'm very grateful for that privilege, but I can't count on that to be there forever. I can only count on myself to be there forever.
It's still a privilege.
Yeah. So with that, let me know how you feeling. What are your thoughts? This is a very nuanced topic, but in some ways very simple. And with that, we'll see you in the next episode. Let us know if you want to hear more stuff, or certain political stories, or current events that you want two hypnotherapists and trauma experts to weigh in on, because I think we have, well, at least a different perspective. Yeah. And hopefully a very helpful one. But until then, we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.